Good morning, brothers and sisters. Hope you are well and you are safe today. You know, there are many things about God that are just beyond human capability of understanding. God is so much greater. God is so much broader than we are. And there are times that we are perplexed completely by the things that go on in life. And quite honestly, that is something that is definitely not new. Been going on since the very beginning of time. But the Bible does assure us about some of the characteristics of God, and we need to trust what Scripture has to say. For example, in Psalms chapter 18, the Bible tells us there in verse 30, as for God, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord is proven. He is a shield to all who trust in him. So, though we may not always understand why God does what God does in the way in which he does it, we can be assured that whatever God does is right. It's always the correct course of action to take. God doesn't make any mistakes. God doesn't slip up like you and I tend to do. So God's way is perfect. May not understand it. That's okay. Remember, he's seeing from eternity to eternity. You and I are only seeing in the narrow frame of our lifetime. But then the writer goes on to tell us the word of the Lord is proven. God's going to do what he said. God's going to live in accordance with the way he has revealed himself to us. And so we can trust that. We can go to Scripture, and though we may not get a full picture of God, and though we may not get a complete understanding of God, we can get a good idea of how God intends to operate with human beings, and we can trust that. God is going to do what he said he would do. Now, sometimes it may be many years. We believe that it was probably something like 4,000 years between the first promise of the coming of the Messiah and Jesus actually coming to earth. But that's okay. God moves in his own time, and God's time is always the correct time, the perfect time. So we can trust that. But then the latter part of this verse, he's a shield to all who trust in him. We may not understand everything that is going on around us in our world today, but we can still trust God. His way is still right. He's not forsaken his children, and he will take care of those who put their trust in him. And that's the key, that we trust him. Like Solomon said in Proverbs, we trust the Lord with all our heart and do not lean to our own understanding. Let's try not to outfigure God, because he has it figured correctly. And if we trust him, it'll all work according to God's marvelous and wonderful plan. So God hasn't changed, though the world may be in confusion and turmoil and everything else. God's still constant. He's still there. He's still in control. And things are going according to His plan. So let's just simply trust Him.